It's
A
almost
very good
ready.
morning, a very good morning and warm greetings to everyone. Respected Principal Sir, Vice Principal Ma'am, my worthy co-educators and dear students. Today, on this World Environment Day, we will be discussing on our food and environment, and we have a very esteemed personality of our city in front of us, Mr. Darshan Desai, who would be sharing his insights with us and would be enlightening us with his experiences. Sir needs no introduction, basically, but we still need to introduce him to inspire ourselves from the milestones that he have achieved in his life. Darshan Desai is a founder and president of Prayas Team. He founded Prayas Team Environment in 2005 along with his few friends. He has rescued and rehabilitated animals, birds, and reptiles. Team Prayas have helped over 2 lakh animals, birds, and snakes and have saved 10,000 trees by transplanting them. Mr. Darshan is a chartered accountant and a postgraduate in computer science and application. He is a cyclist, photographer, marathon runner, conservationist, and a bird watcher. He's a vegan since 2011 and it is very rightly said by Ernest Hemingway, the earth is a fine place and we have been practicing veganism since 2011 and it is very rightly said by Ernest Hemingway, the earth is a fine place and worth fighting for. Similarly, a Hindi poet very famously said, "प्रकृति से रूबरू होने के बाद ही मैं खुद से रूबरू हो पाता हूँ." On this occasion, I welcome you to CIS family, and on the behalf of CIS family, I extend you warm greetings of welcome. And being a green school, we look forward to this session and hearing your insightful message. Yeah.
Thank you so much for a very elaborate introduction. I'm always delighted to share time and thoughts with you guys at Countryside. And thank you, Sanjay sir, for having me on this interaction session on a very special day. Basically, should we begin with a short presentation and then we can have a detailed interaction in form of question, answer, and discussion? Is it
Yes,
okay?
it's totally up to you, sir. Like whatever you prefer.
All right, fine. So I'll be starting with the small presentation. Basically, there are just some pointers presented, and then I'll put the food into perspective with regards to environment, and probably then we can have more fruitful discussion when we interact. So I'll be sharing my screen in a moment. Hello. Is
Yes,
the
sir, you
first
are.
slide visible?
Yes, it's
Is the slide
visible.
visible?
Yes, yes, sir.
All right, fine. Okay, so there is not much to be told in this regard. Uh, just like the great scientist Newton, there is one anecdote so when he was in lab, when he used to experiment and he used to study, he did not want any disturbances. So he would not want to get up from his desk to open a door or something. So he had a pet cat, and so the cat used to move around, and the great Mr. Newton did not want any disturbances. So what he did was that instead of getting up every time when the cat wanted to enter his lab and open the door, he made a hole at the bottom, a small entrance of the size of the cat. And then it was very easy. The cat used to move through that door in the that wall in the hole in the door, the special entrance, and everything was fine. A few sometime later, the great scientist had another pet, which was another small cat. It was a kitten, basically. So just following his own scientific acumen, what Mr. Scientist did was that he created another small uh, hole, second hole in the door for the another kitten. So, well, there is nothing great about this story, but what it says is that even a greatest scientist and intelligent person like Sir Isaac Newton would make this stupid mistake where he just did not realize he was so much into his ideas, into the old idea, that he did not realize that the same the another kitten also could enter from the one hole that was made for the bigger cat. So this is what we are doing with our conservation of environment thoughts, actions. We are totally uh, looking away from the major contributor to the pollution and destruction of environment, which is our food, which is the highest amount of anything for which we exploit or use the environment, which is our food, basically. I'll just take you through some very interesting facts and figures of how our food impacts our environment. Okay, everyone here is very much concerned about all the trees, all the forests, and all the resources, that natural resources that our Mother Earth has provided to us. And we are every day using it, like just like uh, the food and the facility that our parents has given us. So some very interesting facts. Everyone likes to eat burgers, pizzas, interesting food. So here is a comparison that if we eat a burger which is made of only of vegetables, we use this much amount of water. And if we eat something which is made of meat or animal products, this is what the amount of water that is being used. All right. So the end result is the same. We end up getting same amount of protein, that is nearly 20 grams of protein. But for the same, the water we use is 17 times more. All right. This is the footprint of our food. Those who eat only plant, those who eat food out of only plant produce uses 300 gallons of water. Those who eat plants as well as consume dairy products use 1200 gallons, that is 4 times. And those who eat animal products is 10 times, more than 10 times. All right. So this is what is the amount of water that is needed to produce 1 kilogram of food. Least is, you can see, plants, vegetables, and fruits. And the highest is again the products, that food that comes from animals. this is a very famous quote from Mahatma, that the earth has everything for everyone's needs, but not everyone's greed. Hunger is the biggest problem that we face in the world today. And would it be fair if we fancy our food from the food that uses 17 or 20 times more the resources than the other food for the same result? So here are some facts which are very disturbing, but everyone must know that the food that we are eating, aren't we snatching it from someone else? So if we are eating plant-based food, then it is the facts are very alarming. 70% of the grains that is grown, grains is the major portion of our food, is used to feed animals. Okay, and if the short answer to end world hunger would be to turn to the food that is made from only plants. What plant only plant-based, you can actually save 45 pounds of grain for someone else to eat, and you can obviously save gallons of plant-based food. Then by 2050, this is the result that we can have. This is actually the result that everyone wants, but nobody's talking about the stupid mistake that we are making. The technology has advanced, the willingness to save the environment is advanced, but we are yet not looking towards the major source of consumption of environment, which is the food. And this is what we can save if we all go plant-based. Raising animals for food generates more greenhouse gases than all the cars and trucks in the world combined. This is something which is just like a secret thing which is eating away our environment. We are so conscious about our transport. We want to shift to more environment friendly fuels, more energy saving equipments. But on the other side, we just keep on. If we keep on eating the food which is animal based, we are creating equally more greenhouse gases. So the animal agriculture, that is the food that is made out of animal products, which is dairy and meat and eggs and all the sea food, creates the highest amount of greenhouse gases, the pollution that we are worried about. All transportation, 13% of the greenhouse gas emissions. 51% is the animal agriculture. This is what the animal agriculture gives to greenhouse gases. Greenhouse gases is the major cause of global warming and all the cyclones and weather disturbances that we are having. We just saw one unprecedented historical cyclone that hit Gujarat and India. Basically, this was the biggest or the most dangerous cyclone that we have seen so far, which actually not only created a havoc on these shores, but went right through till the heart of the India, and caused a major destruction and a huge loss. So do we want to stop all this or not? All right. And uh, this is the way we save trees and forests. An acre of land can produce 40,000 pounds of potatoes, 50,000 pounds of tomatoes, but only 250 pounds of beef. So animal products is the major cause of destruction for environment. The water waste, obviously, there's a huge waste of water when we eat food from animals. All right. And of course, the major threat we are fighting against since a year now, more than a year now, 70% of the human diseases are linked to animal agriculture. All the pandemics, almost all the pandemics, let it be influenza or the recent COVID one, are due to our animal exploitation. So this is another major reason to shift to plant-based. So that is what I wanted to share in brief about our food and how it impacts the environment. I hope I have made it loud and clear that we are all the efforts of our saving the environment and not thinking about food we eat is just like we are being as intelligently idiot like Sir Isaac Newton when we are creating the second door for the kitten. So I think if I've gone through the audio clearly, we can have questions, and that will help us more to understand.
Thank you so much, sir, for enlightening us. I have a set of questions from the students. We have green ambassadors in our school, and they have sent me some questions which they are very curious to know about. Basically, there is a question from Dey Jitendra Patel from grade 8th. He wants to ask, what is the main problem of environment which leads to trees and plants die?
All right, I think I just shared the whole. What we do is that initially the world did not realize, and we were thinking that our urbanization, of course, the major population is. I mean, we are right now using as if we have 3 earths. Like suppose we have 10 rupees and we have to use it for 10 days, then obviously the math would be that we have 1 rupee per day. But right now we are using 3 rupees a day. So as if we are using the money, or we are using the resources as if we are having 30 rupees. So we are right now exploiting the natural resources, and hence it is being shown in the destruction of forest. So our greed, basically our wastage of food mainly, and our ways that we are living, our lifestyle, which is far from nature friendly, is a major impact on the forest and trees and plants and natural heritage that we use. The way we are living is, and the major portion of it is the way what we eat.
There is a question from one of our faculty also. She wants to ask, her name is Priya Nishan, what is more healthy and affordable alternative to meat, which is a major source of protein? Also, why, according to you, people are more reluctant to switch to plant-based food?
All right. See, basically, animals derive their protein from plants. There are far more superior protein sources in our leafy vegetables, beans. The traditional food for protein in India has been our beans, legumes like chana, beans. So all sort of all sort of legumes and beans are the major source of protein. Do you know what they feed to the cows and buffaloes for taking out beef? It's the soybean. So we should skip the middle cow and get proteins directly from the beans and all. So all the natural resources, the highest form of best form of protein is moong, the traditional moong sabji that we all have. Moong has the highest and cleanest protein. Right? Uh, Compared to there are, if you Google best plant-based protein sources, then you'll have hundreds of facts showing that plant protein is way superior and they're very economical. I mean, if you buy 1 kg of beef, you get certain amount of protein. But as we saw, we use 17 times more water, and we create so much pollution if we uh, uh, rely on beef for our protein. But on the other side, moong and beans and chana has equal amount of fiber also, which is so good for our health. So if health is the concern, then not almost all the top athletes would go vegan or plant-based, right? Take any sport, and some top athletes are vegan. And there is a beautiful documentary called Game Changers, where the whole thing has been explained very well. I think this is what we should do. We should go back to our traditions. Our traditions is in the green and plant-based foods for protein or calcium or any sort of nutrient requirement.
So you said our tradition is in plant-based food, but many people find it difficult to adopt vegan diet only because of cultural and various other social
Yes.
reasons. So how
Yes.
can we overcome those things? And what has been your experience like whenever you started
Yes.
adopting that vegan diet?
I really like this question. See, in India, most of the problems are socio-economic, because for all our decisions, we are bound by our social and economical constraints. All right. So, because technically, India has got brains that can create magic, but it is our society, our social and economical background, which prevents us or prohibits us from making decisions that we should. So, suppose the major questions that we face is that from our parents, because what the parents have seen since their life or in the books and everything, that dairy or meat is our tradition. Some uh, some religions also have a tradition to eat meat, but what is the science for? Okay, as
Yeah.
as we learn and grow, we need to make informed decisions. So when I went vegan in 2000, early this decade, 2011, so we did not have much of the information. But when your values are right, no decision is difficult. So I did not want any animals to be harmed for the way I live. So it was very easy for me. And traditionally also, I have not been, I have been a vegetarian, and it was very easy to minus the dairy because I did not had dairy products much. So in India, of course, this is a very valid question where, traditionally and even religion-wise, we are very much, the animal products are very much in our food. But I think it is very easy to convince oneself and the others if we put facts and emotions in the right place, where we every day see the plight of cows, there won't be a single street in the city where you won't find abandoned cows eating garbage and plastics. Our having milk is the major reason why they are. India is highest in beef export. So where do all these slaughter come from? Basically, dairy is what, the milk and animal products is the main source of this cruelty. So emotional part is very easy to decide. But traditionally, we just need to convince ourselves first and then the others that it is very easy to go back to our traditions, which is actually plant-based. We have been gatherers. Initially in the civilizations, all the people used to eat plants and fruits only. And if we see our anatomy, it is made for plant-based food, not for meat. And of course, there are lots of facts and easy information where we can see that we are mammals. The mother's milk is for initial growth for a mammal's baby. And each animal, we are the only species which consumes the mother's lactation of another species. We are the only species. So all these facts are very easy to convince. And of course, we have so many examples in all the leading people where we can convince ourselves. And of course, I can also share the facts and figures so that people can, convince themselves or help and convince others.
There is another question from Tamogna S. She wants to ask if majority of a country's population were to convert to veganism, then how would all the farm animals be managed and where would they be relocated, as they will be unable to survive in the wild? And also there is a question from Mr. Amir. What are the risks of being vegan? Health risks of being vegan?
Wonderful. I'm really liking the questions. It seems that all the participants are very much into it, into the topic, and they also know a lot about plant-based or veganism. So I'm actually liking the questions. First question was that what would happen to all the thousands and lakhs of milk animals that we have? All right. So just a simple fact that we are actually bringing those animals to life for our consumption of milk. So if we think, let's think how the whole population of this cow has increased. Okay, what the dairy people do is that I would like to admit that I also did not think about all these things when I was consuming dairy, right? I have been a vegetarian, so I did not used to eat any meat or so. But as a Gujarati, traditional Gujarati family, the milk products are always there in everyone's, though 90% of the Gujarati food, traditional food is plant-based. So the so every year when a cow is forcefully made pregnant for the baby, because only the cow will give milk only when there is a baby, and that's for a short period. So what just to increase the milk production, we are forcing the cows to have babies every year. It is a very painful process for cows. And just about in 4 to 5 years after having 4 to 5 babies, imagine the physical condition of the cow. That cow is rendered useless and then it goes to slaughter. So if we drink less or if we reduce our consumption of dairy, the production of the cows will decrease. So just the way the number and the number has increased with the increase of dairy, obviously nobody is going to, this is a hypothetical question. So if everyone goes vegan overnight, then economically the dairy won't be viable. But we know that that is not going to happen. The whole process has taken years to reach this first consumption and the production of milk and subsequently the animals. So as people become aware, those people who do not need milk can gradually shift to plant-based foods or decrease their dairy, and consequently the production of babies will decrease, and hence the population will stabilize. Initially, it was the same thing. Just say about 40 to 50 years ago, when the milk was not sold out in the market as a product, all the villagers had their 2 or 3 cows, and they used to take out milk and use for themselves. There was no abandoning of cows, right? There was no issue of all the cows going to slaughter, or there was no abandoning of cows on the street. It's just that this mass scale of industrialization, selling of milk, has brought upon this thing. So what was the second part of the question? What the risk of going vegan? Health risks. Okay. There are no health risks. In fact, there are actually health benefits, and there is a lot of literature available. We can, there are documentaries which will explain things in detail. But just to summarize the health benefits of plant-based food, I will say that it is very good for heart, right? If all the industry and everything is run with marketing, you will see all the advertisements of Sunday hoya Monday, Rose Ka One Day. So they are trying to sell the eggs a lot, right? You can see advertisements of milk. Then if the milk was so good, then why would you need to add Complan into it? Doodh ki shakti badhata hai. These are all marketing gimmicks and marketing strategies. You won't see any advertisement where they would see that, okay, you should eat more gajar or you should eat more palak. There is no advertisement because you don't need to sell that. It is facts and figures. Take up any nutrition book or any basic thing, you will say that all the health risks are in the animal products. So there are no health risks. Of course, if you are having a same sort of diet, when you change your food pattern, you need to make that thing informed. So you can obviously, if you are right now eating a lot of dairy products, then one needs to reduce it and then switch to plant-based. There is everything there in the plants which any animal product would give. So there are no risks. In fact, only benefits.
There is a question from Vaidehi Krunal Patel from grade 8 honesty. Basically, we get to see in news channels that due to coronavirus, when human pollution has decreased, environment is healing itself. So what would be your perception that coronavirus is harmful or a positive thing for the environment? That's a very good question from Vaidehi Krunal Patel.
Yeah, it is a very good question. Everyone, so basically we have found a proof that human activity is the major cause of destruction of the environment. As soon as we gave a little time and space, breathing space and movement space, as we restricted our movement, we used to get a lot of forward memes on WhatsApp. that the animals are now moving in the streets freely, and the humans are caged in their houses, and they are, as if the animals are in the human zoo, and they are looking at and discussing about the humans. So basically, this is the proof that human activity is the major source of impact on environment, and that same impact is reversed to humans. We are not realizing this. As soon as we realize it, we will be able to, and the major thing that our human activity is our food, because we have to have it 3 times a day, and water around 5 times a day. So to start with, if we want to save environment and animals, we need to start with our food and activity. So if we are using if you're trying to save water by using less amount of water in our shower, but if we are still eating meat, that will be a foolish proposition. So yes, definitely, as soon as the human activity decreased, the animals and nature had a space to expand, and of course that we have encroached a lot into their territories, and if we give them a little space, then it'll be beneficial for us. So coronavirus is an indicator. This pandemic, it is an indicator that has taught us. So it is definitely the social change is for good, but of course, so many people have died. So this is not a fault of the corona or particular virus.
Mm-hmm.
It does not has any brain or something, right? This is the outcome of the human greed, the wet markets, the animal exploitation, and as the last slide suggested, 70% of the pandemics are due to human greed activities, exploitation of animals. So this is an indicator.
Okay. There is another question of grade 7, Anshika. She wants to ask, why do we need to celebrate World Environment Day? She has a question that what is the purpose of this day? Why do we need to celebrate this?
All right. In a routine life, if we are not living the way we should, then uh, we see any day is a reminder of what we are doing in our life. Okay, so uh, it is the occasion where we actually recollect that, oh, this is what we need to do. But immediately on next day, we just forget all those things, and the same things is repeated over and over after 364 days again for a single day, right? But if we if we are doing nothing, then it's better that we do it for one day. But see, I would say in this way that the Mother Earth and environment is our parent. Because of them, we are existing for as a human race. So how do we respect them? So a easy thing would be, how do we respect our parents? There are a few simple things that we would respect them, by doing the actions that what they want us to do, not violating what the rules that they set us for. So if we eat right, if we use less resources, this is the way we respect our parents, the Mother Earth. So if we eat right food, and if we live nature friendly, then it's every day the world environment.
I would include some students to have direct discussion with you. So I would ask Sanskriti to unmute yourself and ask your question directly to the sir that you have messaged me. Sanskriti. And I will ask some faculties also to ask their questions directly. Sanskriti Vipin Sharma. Okay, I guess there must be some technical fault at that. Okay, yeah, I will ask a question. How can we protect the environment and at the same time improve people's standard of living?
In a so, I would like to have ice cream, or twice a day, I would like to have something which is expensive. And on the other side, there are so many people who are not even getting two full meals a day. So standard of living is a question, a term which is so relative. So what would be better if 2 out of 10 people having chocolates and other people starving, or all the 10 people having good full meals uh, a day? So the best we can do is to average out our resources. And the best thing that we can do is that to switch to plant-based food, right? Imagine uh, the amount of animal products that we eat can cater to 40 other people's for their hunger. So what is a better standard of living? 2 people eating beef or dairy, or all the 10 people eating good, healthy meals twice a day? So best we can do is that to, you know, redefine our standard of living term to eat healthy, simple plant-based food so that everyone can eat and everyone can grow together. So in India, it has been a inclusive and all collaborative approach in all our traditions, that we actually want to take everyone together. And the best way is to do it by, it is so stupid if we would, eat meat products and then distribute food to poor people. So the main reason of hunger is the animal agriculture. So I think that's a very broad term question, but again, if we redefine the standard of living, which is the need to do.
Yeah. Bhavika ma'am has a question to ask. She wants to ask, is 5G network affecting birds? Are birds being affected by 5G network that we see in the news?
All right. There is no considerable research as so far, or it has not come into light. But see, as a someone who takes fancy into birds, birds are very sensitive. All right. So any of the radiation or any of the increase of radiation, my take is it would definitely be impacting the birds in some or the other way. I am not aware of a particular research or anything which has come out on 5G particularly. All right. But uh, what it the amount of radiation and amount of the related activities that are happening is definitely impacting the environment. On the other hand, there is no direct connection of microwave radiation to the birds, because see, there is a particular species called rosy starling, which is a winter visitor. They come into huge flocks, and if you have seen videos or by your eyes, they make shapes while flying in the sky, a big shapes like clouds, like shapes. So their favorite place to sit is cell phone towers. So there is no visible impact, but we are trying to relate, and there is a lot of research going on. So in plain words, I actually do not know.
Okay. Yeah. So when we talk about trees, majorly most of the environmental problems that we talk about can be overcome by growing more trees. But while we are lacking space due to the increasing population, how can we balance growing trees and including more of that forestation in our city life?
Okay, there is a beautiful concept called green square feet. All right. Uh, the best, as rightly pointed out, we do not have any space left to grow trees, big trees in city. All right. We have footpaths, we have roads, we have uh, pavements and everything. So best thing an individual can do by him or herself is to make greenery on the terrace or in the balcony. Every green square foot counts. So if suppose there is a house or a building which is having 20 square feet of terrace, 10 by, 100 square feet of terrace, 10 by 10, very small one. If that is covered by plants in pots, let it be kitchen garden, let it be a bonsai garden, let it be small plants, flowering plants, anything. That much amount of space will be provided with the shade. So what the green surface, what the leaves do is they consume the heat of the sun and gives us the oxygen and provides shade. So it will decrease the amount of heat that is generated in the concrete buildings. So we cannot grow trees, no issues. What we can do is that we can cover all the concrete surfaces, most of the concrete surfaces with plants, potted plants. So potted plants on the terrace. And of course, nowadays people are actually buying zero vegetables from the market by growing all the vegetables that they need on their terraces. There's a huge development. People are turning to terrace gardens, growing their vegetables, fruits on their terraces by themselves. So by doing so, they're getting the food plus they're contributing to the decrease of global warming. So terrace gardens, balcony gardens, wherever you can have a small pot, every leaf counts.
So we are having a list of questions, many questions. People are like very much enthusiastic and students are very much curious. But to conclude conclude this session with a very good note, I want to ask that what should be the key takeaway when we celebrate World Environment Day? What should be the key takeaway as humans that we need to contribute to environment, and what should be our first step while we celebrate this?
All right. We actually uh, should learn to say sorry to our parents. The best ways to say sorry is to do what the parents like or they expect us to do. So there are 5 P's. You know, you can every school children know, every school kid knows. Uh, we can save on paper. We can save on water. We can use plastics judiciously. We can save electricity. And major thing is that we can try and inculcate the habits. Let it be one small habit a day or a month. Whenever you switch off the light while you exiting a room, is like saying sorry and saying thank you to the Mother Earth. So though while we are studying, we are not able to do major things like saving a forest or converting to a green fuel vehicle or something. We can always use more of a cycle. We can always try and save maximum electricity that we can. We can always look forward to say thank you by doing what the Mother Earth likes, to switch to plant-based foods, to save rainwater. Everything is doable, and mainly having converting this as a habits. So green habits is the major thing that we all can do to celebrate World Environment Day every day.
Thank you so much, sir. We are glad to have this very much insightful session and have this enlightening experience with you. I would request our principal, sir, to speak for a minute, and he wants to thank you and extend a warm welcome and express his vote of thanks for you.
Sure.
Thank you, Konik sir, and thank you, Darshan sir. In fact, you see Darshan Bhai with gray hair right now. He's a young chap, very dynamic personality. But I have seen Darshan Desai as a young boy, like in 1998, 1999, when I used to be a young teacher and used to go for some camps along with some of the students, and he used to work as volunteer. And he has given immense to the city in form of environment, saving of birds, and what not he has done to preserve the environment. So thank you very much, Darshan sir, and your efforts, continuous efforts in this
It's 10
direction.
o'clock.
It really had made a lot of sense. Students, I was just wondering, with almost 36 questions I came across, because the list was there yesterday, Google form was given, and these questions are raised by young students like grade 6, 7, 8, 9. Other than these green ambassadors, they are sitting and watching on Facebook. Definitely, we are going to send it to Darshan sir, and he may give them answer, because all questions are not included. I would consider each child, each scholar of CIS as green warrior. So, like how Corona warriors are there, we are green warriors. And I'm proud of you, because we are able to create that environment, green environment, not only in the campus, but it is within us, and we are giving good vibes to others to preserve the nature. Day before yesterday, we had a meeting and we were just thinking what else other than these lectures and we can do. Unfortunately, students are not with us. Otherwise, every year we plant a tree. But then finally we decided we will be planting 4 trees, people trees or banyan trees today, 4. And each tree will represent the division. Like we do not have divisions like A, B, C, D. We have got like grade 1, honesty. So 1 tree for honesty. So all the students who study in honesty classrooms, it is their tree. So second tree is truth, third one is courage, and fourth one is freedom. So they are planted today early morning. So student, they are your trees. A small request, as Darshan sir has said, that you should maintain your terrace garden. You should try to develop it. Um, uh, we definitely need more friends. It's not like only Facebook friend or somewhere virtual friends are not there. But if you really want to enjoy friendship, something very different bond kind of thing, plant a tree or even a sapling. You should have a small one and give a name. Give a name to that plant, whatever you wish. How you give name to your pet, similar way, give a name to your plant. And at times, I believe that you can express, you can sit, you can hug, you can be with the tree. So students, I think even if you give a little contribution, after a couple of years, it will be considered a huge contribution, like something like immense contribution. And it will be a gift. Like if today we are planting some trees, it is for the next generation. If you are going to plant trees today or tomorrow or preserve nature, save water, then it is for the siblings, those kids who are studying in nursery, junior KG, senior KG. You are going to give them a better future. So they are your brothers and sisters, young ones, young siblings. Give them a gift of better world. I was also, I mean, it may sound a bit weird, but I constantly these days I'm thinking that many people every day they are using, chemical. Darshan sir is a chemical engineer, so I don't know whether I should ask this question or not, and he might agree with me. Every day shampoo, every day soap, every day body wash, and all this, water through our drains, it reaches to either rivers or in sea. So I think there should be, I'm not saying that we should not take bath every day, but if we can reduce the use of chemical, like cosmetic chemicals, which ultimately it adds some environmental pollution somewhere. I don't know how many places and where and how, but I strongly believe that something may go wrong along with that. So we need to think about it. And of course, plastic also. So this is what these are the areas of explorations. One needs to think critically. So you are young scholars, you have got very sound brain, your imagination, your thought process is very, very fast than what we can think now. So for your better future and for your own curiosity, you can explore these areas. So thank you, Darshan sir. Thank you, each one of you, for joining and making this morning more beautiful. So nice of you. Thank you, kids.
Thank you, sir.
Koenig sir, I'm just taking a second. First of all, I would like to thank Darshan sir, and along with him, I would like to thank all my green ambassadors, along with the students who sent some serious questions to us. Students, because of this time constraint, we were not able to take up all the questions. But let me tell you, we are seriously amazed with all the intellectual questions asked by you all. So I take the pleasure to take up their names along with their grades. The students who asked those questions were Dhey Patel from grade 8 Honesty, Vanshika Balchandani from grade 7 Truth, Neev Khatiwala, grade 8 Honesty, Manan Bajania, grade 10 Honesty, Charvisha, grade 9 Honesty, Samruddhi, grade 7 Truth, Vedehi Patel, grade 8 Honesty, Shruti Soni, grade 9 Courage, Rudraksh Desai, grade 9 Truth, Elisha Patel, grade 8 Truth, Ananya Khedkar, grade 6 Courage, Raval Gajendra Kumar, grade 8 Honesty, Riya Patel, grade 9 Honesty, Riya Patel from grade 9 Honesty, Rashmi Nebnani from grade 7 Courage, Dishika Mukherjee, grade 7 Truth, Pratha Patel, grade 9 Courage, Nirek, grade 8 Truth, Aviraj, grade 10 Honesty, Amok Thakkar, grade 9 Honesty, Malhar Maheda from grade 10 Honesty, Dheer Vanwani, grade 8 Truth, Jayesh Patel from grade 6 Honesty, and Anshika, grade 7 Honesty. Thank you so much for your scholarly questions, children. We would love to send and share those questions to Darshan sir, and soon you will be getting the replies also. Over to you, Koenig sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing your time with us. It means a lot for us to have a person, an eminent personality like you in front of us. And we extend heartful, cordial thanks to you for sharing your time with us. आपका हर प्रयास सार्थक हो और पर्यावरण के लिए आपका हर प्रयास सार्थक हो और पर्यावरण के लिए आपका हर पुरुषार्थ सार्थक हो. I would like to say कि we really want person like you to come often to our school and inspire us to be green warriors, as our principal sir said. I would say दिल से दिल का ये रिश्ता बनाए रखना, ये अपना ही घर है, आना जाना कायम रखना, ये अपना ही घर है, आना जाना कायम रखना. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks a lot, everyone. Thank you so much. Definitely, apna hi ghar hai. We'll be there. Sure.
So I conclude the session over. Take care, everyone. Stay healthy. Stay safe. Bye-bye.
Thank you.